Back to Kimok 7. Hope you've been doing well. Sorry for the hiatus between vlogs. I've been spontaneous about making the autism vlogs. So when I see a story that resonates with me and I have more to say to it than just read it, then I want to cover it. So in this case, this New Jersey family thinks they're going to go on a pleasant vacation down to Aruba or the Bahamas and with their 15-year-old son who has autism. And unfortunately, on the flight back, he has a complete meltdown. And they essentially ask him to leave the plane and get off the plane. And then they get trapped down there. And wow, I'm going to read you this story. What an adventure they went on. Trapped down there for 3 weeks, nearly a month. So let me walk you through some of the just incredible story here. And I think they could have handled things a little bit differently. They say they had some medication that would quickly kick in if you were to have a meltdown like this on a flight, but it didn't work. I'd be curious to know what that medication is. They don't mention it here, but stranded New Jersey family finally reunited after son with autism was kicked off vacation flight. There he is. I mean, he's a big kid for 15 years old. An airplane is stressful enough for people and the pilot and the stewardesses and the assistants and the employees and the passengers. So when somebody of his size is having a meltdown on the plane and won't take down their seat, it's a very tenuous situation. So, the policies are to just kick people off. When Carlos Pacheco, Jamie Green, and their 3 children visited Aruba last month, they expected a typical family vacation, nothing like the nightmare that caused 2 members to be stranded in the Caribbean for nearly a month. On May 17th, as the family was attempting to board their return flight from Aruba to Newark, New Jersey, their 15-year-old son, Elijah, who has autism, experienced a sensory episode. I don't know why I don't call this a meltdown, but they're saying a sensory episode. We had gone on many vacations driving, and Elijah had never had any issues, Pacheco told New Jersey Advocate Media Monday. We flew to Disney last year and he enjoyed the plane ride and even the roller coasters there. Nothing seemed to startle him, so we felt it was safe to go to Aruba. When the family began to board the United Airlines plane, Elijah stopped the doorway and began to scream toilet, his way of saying something was wrong. I gave him a gentle nudge and he made it to our seats. Then he lost control. He refused to sit, and Jamie and I had to hold him down. Something caused him to be overwhelmed, and he began to hit Green and me and continued screaming. A flight attendant informed the parents, and the captain had requested them to return to the gate. Elijah's doctors in the United States had prescribed fast-acting medication in case the teen became agitated. The parents administered the medicine, but there was no change in his behavior. They knew flying on a commercial airline was no longer an option, sensing it would trigger another episode. I don't know why they thought that. I think maybe if I would have maybe waited a couple days gone by and try and get on another flight, but it doesn't sound like they did that. Pacheco and Green then tried a medical evaluation company, but they were turned down. Regarding that medical evaluation company, it was, I read in a separate article about the same story. It was actually an airline plane that is a medical airline plane that for $33,000 they would fly him back. And right when they're about to get on that plane or line it up, the company actually turned down the $33,000 when they heard that this boy had autism. A cruise line refused to help them as well. The family was stuck on an island 2,000 miles from home. Even the U.S. consulate in Aruba ran out of ideas and had to get our 2 other children back to school at Toms River, so they flew back separately. As Pacheco recounted the ordeal Monday, he watched a white van pull up outside his townhome. I think they're home, he said, jumping up and running outside to greet his wife and son, who in that moment had finally returned. They've been gone since May 10th. Pacheco, Green, and Elijah embraced before Elijah ran inside to find his iPad. I cannot believe we're finally home. There's the photo of them arriving home. At one point, I thought we'd be stuck in Aruba forever. How they got home. So on May 22nd, Julian Maha was scrolling through Facebook at his Birmingham, Alabama home when he came across Green's post pleading for help. Maha asked his family, Vicky Ray, Vice President of Guest Care and Communications at Carnival Cruise Lines, if she could assist. rearranged for one of their ships to divert course to Aruba and pick up Green and Elijah, and then dropping them off in Miami. Maha also asked 2 volunteers from Culture City, a nonprofit organization Maha founded to promote sensory inclusion and acceptance for those with disabilities, to drive from Atlanta to Miami and then drive Green and Elijah back to their home in Toms River. So this volunteer company drove from Atlanta all the way down to Miami to pick up Elijah and his mom and then take them all the way up to New Jersey. Just incredible. Talk about love and caring and compassion. Given Carnival's close relationship with Culture City, our team has a deep understanding of the needs of individuals with sensory and individual disabilities. When the organization was contacting us about Elijah's situation, we had realized we could bring him back to the United States on one of our ships. We did not hesitate to offer help. I knew the minute I read the post that I had to help. I am grateful that Green and Elijah are home safely. Their story resonated on so many levels since my autistic child Abram is on the same age as Elijah. My wife Michael and I identify with their sense of hopelessness and desperation. On the board of Culture City for several celebrities, including Jersey Shore TV star Jenny Farley, aka JWoww. There she is. A new mission. A few minutes after the family was reunited, Green looked at Pancheco next to her, then at Elijah playing with his iPad, and shook her head. Policies have to change. I understand that airlines must follow safety protocols, but something like this should never happen. Green said, noting how she wished the airline could have presented an alternative plan to return her and her child home and not left them to fend for themselves. Airlines should treat individual disabilities the same way they treat visible disabilities. Invisible disabilities include autism, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, anxiety, ADHD, strokes, mental health challenges. United Airlines policy on disability lists several types of special need accommodations, including wheelchair access, CPAP machines, service animals, but does not list a specific policy for passengers with autism. Green wiped her eyes and continued, we never thought this could happen to us. We now plan to be involved with Culture City and the autism community. I'm seeing the silver lining. Just a change that a policy might change as a result of our story is enough for me. It's just an incredible story. I'll put the link down below on this. You know, I have Chase with me for 4 days next week. We're going to take a nice long weekend together and go jet skiing and swimming and hiking and all kinds of cool fun things for the summer, like a long daddy weekend. And on the note of wave runners and jet skis, the first several times I did it with him, he had complete meltdowns and I had to get a refund. He begged to jump off it before we even left the port. And then finally, last summer, I finally got it on him. But I think when I read this story and hear that medication, I'd be curious of what kind of medications they were talking about. I've been talking a lot on my YouTube channel about CBD oils, CBD gummies, not only for myself as a sleep aid, but certainly for individuals with autism, to kind of preemptively potentially prevent a meltdown or sensory overload. This stuff has an amazing natural ability of calming the brain, the central nervous system, relaxing it, and perhaps this boy Elijah could have popped a couple of these gummies before getting on that flight and been fine. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But if you want to try some of these for yourself or your children, I'll put a link down below. Here's what the gummies look like. These are just 25 milligram gummies. And it's kind of a experimental thing of how much you take. So when I first tried it, I would just take like 10 milligrams and then 20. And for me, that's fine. I mean, that I can feel the effects. But I was wondering what other medications this woman was talking about. I've never heard of that. I assume it's some sort of Valium or relaxin pharmaceutical type of drug. And which is terrible, because to give your 15-year-old son some sort of pharmaceutical thing, it's just not something that I support, and I just don't like it. Yeah. Hey, hope you liked the video. It's kind of a heartwarming story. I personally have only flown with Chase once. No, I've never flown with him on a plane. I've flown with his sister. We've driven all other places, but his mother has flown with him several times, and he's done well. And lucky for her, because this Aruba family went through such a nightmare there. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great summer. This has been Kimok7 with this wild, cool story. And best to you, and much love to you and your family of any special needs that you live with on a daily basis. This has been Kimok7. Take care.